Chapter 701. Clansman? In the outer layer of the Eternal Zone, two figures were gliding in the endless forest. Jian Wushuang was following the copper-armored demon god, Ji Yuqiong. Jian Wushuang, you're pretty good. You can keep up with me, Ji Yuqiong said as he turned to give the boy a friendly glance. Yeah, fortunately. Jian Wushuang nodded. Suddenly, boom! A violent sound arose, accompanied by two streams of mighty power. Someone is fighting. Jian Wushuang immediately understood. Shit, there must be outsiders, Ji Yuqiong mumbled and then accelerated. Soon after, they arrived at a battlefield. A patch of dense forest had disappeared as all the big trees were shattering into pieces. Two figures were fighting in the center of a huge open space. A stone-faced man with a mighty aura was waving his long spear. He was proficient in the raging fire Dao, so every strike was scorching and violent. It's him. Jian Wushuang immediately recognized the stone-faced man. Although he did not know his name, Jian Wushuang had met this superior divine realm expert when many disciples gathered in the Eternal Zone. The stone-faced man was 4 meters tall with silver skin that sparkled in the sunshine. A silver-armored demon god. Jian Wushuang thought while narrowing his eyes. Silver-armored demon gods were much stronger than copper-armored demon gods. He's our captain. The moment he saw this silver-armored demon god, Ji Yuqiong burst into hearty laughter and said in a confident tone, "Haha, it's not the outsider's day. He's encountered our captain." Jian Wushuang sensed that this silver-armored demon god was terrifying. This silver-armored demon god held a silver mace in each of his giant hands. At this point, he was successively swinging his weapons, which contained the strength of billions of pounds, while his opponent had exerted his full strength but was still losing ground. Every time the silver-armored demon god hit the stone-faced man's long spear, the latter would shiver. Obviously, he was unable to counter such violent power. After a while, the stone-faced man's hands started bleeding. How powerful! Jian Wushuang was stunned. He sensed that the stone-faced man was as strong as a superior divine realm expert and more powerful than Hu, but he was far inferior to the silver-armored demon god in strength, speed, and skill. This silver-armored demon god is proficient in close fighting. Jian Wushuang said to himself. Upon realizing that there was no chance to strike back, the stone-faced man turned to flee without hesitation. Although the silver-armored demon god chased after him, the stone-faced man was a core disciple of the Boundless Demon sect and had an excellent life-saving skill, so he easily escaped. It's a pity that this outsider escaped. Ji Yuqiong sighed and walked toward the silver-armored demon god. Captain. Ji Yuqiong greeted him in a resonant voice. The silver-armored demon god, who had landed on the ground, turned his head in surprise. When he saw Ji Yuqiong, he broke into a smile, saying, "And what are your battle results?" "Bad luck. I only encountered an outsider over the last 2 days. He was as strong as me, so he left when he realized that he was unable to kill me," Ji Yuqiong replied. "Those outsiders have incredible skills, so it's hard to kill them." The silver-armored demon god nodded slightly. He was capable of defeating the stone-faced man, but he could do nothing if his opponent escaped. "You're lucky. At least you're alive. Ji Yufeng and Ji Ying are dead," the silver-armored demon god said. "What?" Ji Yuqiong was astonished. Then he clenched his hands, with fury burning in his eyes. "Damn it! The outsiders are our enemies. They desire our essence blood to improve their strength while we train ourselves by fighting with them. We all take what we need." The silver-armored demon god sighed. Upon hearing this, Ji Yuqiong shook his head. "Right, Captain, I met a clansman on my way. He is a little boy who hasn't been baptized," Ji Yuqiong suddenly said. "Oh." The silver-armored demon god was surprised. Ji Yuqiong turned to shout toward the forest. "Boy, come out." Jian Wushuang wore a solemn expression and hesitated, debating whether to go out or not. Although Ji Yuqiong regarded him as his clansman, this captain would probably recognize that he was an outsider. And once he was recognized by the silver-armored demon god, Jian Wushuang knew that he was unable to fight him. "I can't match him in a head-on fight, so if I run, he won't have an opportunity to kill me. Jian Wushuang was deep in thought and finally decided to meet this silver-armored demon god. He wanted to figure out why Jiyu Qiong treated him as his clansman. Whoosh! Jian Wushuang flew out of the dense forest and appeared in front of the two demon gods. He deliberately stood 10 meters away from them and remained on guard. Even if this silver-armored demon god suddenly attacked him, he would be able to react in time. Jian Wushuang, why are you so slow? We're family. What are you afraid of? Jiyu Qiong looked at the boy with a smile. The silver-armored demon god also scrutinized the boy, who was a bit perturbed. Jian Wushuang. The silver-armored demon god looked him up and down and then said with a frown, "This name is similar to that of the outsiders. It's strange that he's here, but his soul aura is indeed consistent with our clansmen." Chapter 702. Soul Aura. The silver-armored demon god's face fell as he asked severely, "Boy, didn't your seniors tell you not to come to this area?" Upon hearing this, Jian Wushuang felt relieved. Obviously, this silver-armored demon god regarded him as his clansman. "Captain, this boy has lost touch with his family," Jiyu Qiong explained. "Really?" The silver-armored demon god raised his eyebrows. Jiyu Qiong looked over at Jian Wushuang and introduced his captain. "Jian Wushuang, this is my captain, Jiyu Yang." "Captain Jiyu Yang." Jian Wushuang addressed him with modesty while thinking. Jiyu Yang, Jiyu Qiong, and the dead Jiyu Feng and Jiyu Ying, all of them with the surname Jiyu. Are all the clansmen from the demon god clan named Jiyu? No wonder they said that my name is a bit odd. "Captain, I've just bumped into this boy and planned on sending him back to his tribe, but I didn't expect to meet you here," Jiyu Qiong said honestly. "Send him back to his tribe." Jiyu Yang spared Jian Wushuang a glance and then nodded slightly. "He hasn't been baptized and should not have been here. This territory is filled with outsiders, so it's dangerous for you to travel here alone, let alone with this little guy. What should I do? Will you escort us back personally?" Jiyu Qiong frowned. "I'm the captain, so I can't leave the battlefield." Jiyu Yang shook his head. "Well, I know a good place to hide. Ordinarily, the outsiders won't be able to find it. You can go there with this boy and hide for a few days. Those outsiders stay for 10 days every time they enter the zone. There are 8 days left. You can wait until then." Jiyu Qiong immediately nodded. "Okay. Follow me," Jiyu Yang ordered and set off. "Jian Wushuang, let's follow the captain," Jiyu Qiong added. Jian Wushuang shrugged but obeyed. Shortly after, Jiyu Yang led them into a patch of dense forest. There was a hole in the ground, which was covered by weeds. "Jiyu Qiong, take this boy and stay in the cave for 8 days. Remember, don't radiate your aura." Jiyu Yang cautioned him. "Okay," replied Jiyu Qiong with a nod. Jiyu Yang looked around to ensure that there were no dangers and then left before Jian Wushuang and Jiyu Qiong entered the cave. There was a spacious open area inside the cave. It was dark without any decorations, but Jian Wushuang and Jiyu Qiong were still able to see clearly in the dark. "Come, boy, let's have a drink." Jiyu Qiong turned his hand over and took out a bag of wine. Jian Wushuang did not hesitate, and as he drank, a pungent feeling ran through his body. "What a spicy wine!" Jian Wushuang growled and felt as if he were going to spout out fire. He had never drunk such spicy wine before. "Ha ha, good wine, right? My wife brews it for me. It's a pity that she only gives me 1 bag every month. You have to save some for me," Jiyu Qiong said with a smile. Jian Wushuang smiled faintly and drank again before he returned the wine bag to this demon god. After wiping his mouth, Jian Wushuang said, "Big brother Jiyu Qiong, I need to ask you about something." "About what?" Jiyu Qiong replied indifferently. "You said you fought with outsiders. What's the difference between us?" Jian Wushuang asked casually. Jian Wushuang was really eager to learn about it. He wanted to figure out why Jiyu Qiong and Jiyu Yang regarded him as their clansman. "That's easy," Jiyu Qiong answered with a grin. "Outsiders are seemingly the same as you are, thin and small and haven't been baptized. Actually, these are just the superficial similarities, their souls are different from ours. Souls? Jian Wushuang was shocked. Everyone has their own soul aura. The outsider's soul auras are totally different from ours. As long as they appear, I can recognize them, Ji Yuqiong explained. Oh. Jian Wushuang nodded inwardly, but he was actually quite astonished. Ji Yuqiong and the other clansmen from the Demon God clan were able to distinguish outsiders from their clansmen according to their soul auras. However, Ji Yuqiong and Ji Yang regarded Jian Wushuang as their clansmen. That is to say, they sensed that Jian Wushuang had the same aura as them. My soul aura is the same as the demon gods. How is this possible? Jian Wushuang felt it was unbelievable. He had been trying to figure out the reason ever since Ji Yuqiong became under the impression that he came from the Demon God clan. Jian Wushuang had suspected that it was because of the immortality secret skill. The immortality secret skill he had received in the ancient world came from an expert called God Hong. God Hong, who came from the eternal world, had to belong to a special clan because his broken finger was larger than Jian Wushuang. The demon gods all had big and powerful bodies, so God Hong possibly came from the Demon God clan. Then it was natural for them to regard Jian Wushuang as their clansman because he had cultivated the immortality secret skill that God Hong created. Nevertheless, he discovered that he was wrong, as the immortality secret skill had only improved his body, but it was unable to change his soul aura. Souls were mysterious, so he was definitely unable to change it by himself. Jian Wushuang was sure that he had no bond with the Demon God clan, but now his soul aura was the same as the demon gods. There was only one possibility. The universal Tao scripture. Jian Wushuang's eyes shone with excitement. When Jian Wushuang received the universal Tao scripture, his master Xianxia told him that it was a special secret skill and that he would know its function in the near future. Therefore, it was likely that the universal Tao scripture had changed his soul aura. Chapter 703. Help. The universal Tao scripture. Jian Wushuang muttered, but he instantly shook his head. Come on, don't think about it. I can ask my master after I return to the ancient sect. Now that they are treating me as their clansman and I haven't intended to kill them, it should be fine. 5 days passed by. Every time the Eternal Zone opened, the outsiders were able to stay for 10 days. Jian Wushuang had spent 2 days meditating on the 5th occult of the world Tao and had stayed in this underground cave with Ji Yuqiong for 5 days, so the outsiders had 3 days left. Jian Wushuang spent most of the time cultivating. He occasionally drank and chatted with Ji Yuqiong. Now he had a basic understanding of the Demon God clan. The Demon God clan had been living in the Eternal Zone for countless years. They called themselves the descendants of the ancient god. It was said that their ancestor was powerful enough to shatter the world. However, their ancestor disappeared many years ago, and no one knew his whereabouts. All the ancient god's descendants admired him. Their blind worship of their ancestor had not weakened with age. The demon gods in this eternal zone amounted to more than 1 million. They all gathered in the inner layer and were divided into 10 tribes. Ji Yuqiong and Ji Yang came from the 7th tribe. They all treated their clansmen like family, and were friendly to the other clans as well as the human population. Each time the Eternal Zone opened, experts from the firmament territory rushed in and tried to kill their clansmen, which provoked the demon gods. Therefore, the Demon God clan would dispatch their elite clansmen to deal with the outsiders. Over the years, the experts killed many demon gods, and vice versa. The experts from the firmament territory are invaders indeed. Jian Wushuang thought. Little brother Wushuang, the outsiders should leave in 3 days. Then we can go out, Ji Yuqiong said. Okay. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly. He had just made up his mind to leave when the time was up. Just then, howl! A roar came from the depths of the dense forest. It seemed to be from a long distance away, but it was resonant, so Jian Wushuang and Ji Yuqiong were able to hear it clearly. Is it? Ji Yuqiong immediately stood up. My clansman nearby is asking for help. Oh. Jian Wushuang was a bit surprised. Ji Yuqiong said in a low voice, it must be because of the outsiders. Howl! Another roar was heard. Jian Wushuang could tell that it sounded urgent. Damn it, so urgent, this clansman won't be able to withstand it. Ji Yuqiong seemed worried as he said to the boy in an anxious voice, "Little brother Wushuang, you stay here, I'll go and check it out." Jian Wushuang had already risen up, and he replied, "Let's go together." "Okay, come on." They instantly flew out of the cave. The moment they appeared in the dense forest, they sensed violent roars from a nearby area. "Hurry up," Ji Yuqiong said urgently. The two of them immediately accelerated and arrived at a battlefield. A copper-armored demon god was fighting with a human warrior fiercely. The human warrior in a scarlet robe gripped a scarlet scythe and charged forward like a ghost, leaving blood shadows in the sky. Jian Wushuang considered the man and thought, "It's him, Shui Guzi, one of the 3 superior divine realm experts from Cloud Sea Asgard." Jian Wushuang came for the 3 superior divine realm experts, so he had paid more attention to them. Shui Guzi was considered the weakest among the 3 superior divine realm experts from Cloud Sea Asgard. However, as the core disciple of Cloud Sea Asgard, Shui Guzi was far more powerful than Hu, who had been killed by Jian Wushuang. Shui Guzi casually swung the scarlet scythe, unleashing blood shadows to suppress his opponent. The copper-armored demon god desperately resisted but had no chance to fight back. The copper-armored demon god was comparable to an advanced divine realm expert, so he was far inferior to Shui Guzi. Fortunately, he had a powerful body, so he was able to sustain the attacks for a while. Without any aid, the copper-armored demon god would die without a doubt. "Bastard!" Ji Yuqiong growled and, without hesitation, dived toward the battlefield. Jian Wushuang only watched the fighting from afar, he did not intend to step in. When the copper-armored demon god, who had fallen into despair, saw Ji Yuqiong, he was surprised and delighted. "Ji Yujing, let's kill this outsider." Obviously, Ji Yuqiong knew the copper-armored demon god. Ji Yujing nodded solemnly. "No problem." Then they charged toward their opponent. "Ha ha." Shui Guzi seemed glad that Ji Yuqiong had joined their fight. His evil eyes glittered with a flicker of excitement. "Buy one, get one free. I'm lucky." Shui Guzi laughed out loud and dashed toward them with his scarlet scythe. Chapter 704. Jian Wushuang joins in. "Humph." Ji Yuqiong snorted. A giant, 3-meter-long axe appeared in his hand. The body of the axe was extremely wide, like a small hill. A might power surged out from his huge arm as he lashed out with the axe. Boom! It collided with the scarlet scythe, causing a violent clash. The strength of both of them erupted. Ji Yuqiong was knocked back while Shui Guzi only took a step back. "Oh!" Shui Guzi stared at Ji Yuqiong with a flicker of surprise in his eyes, saying, "Nice, both of you are copper-armored demon gods, but you're stronger than your friend. Anyway, the result won't change." He grinned before he dived forward. Shua! 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 All that appeared in the sky was a few scarlet shadows. No one knew where Shui Guzi was. Ji Yuqiong was astonished and said to himself, "So fast." "Ji Yuqiong, be careful, he is really fast." Ji Yujing warned his friend. Just then, Shui Guzi appeared at his opponent's side. A cold bloodlight flashed toward the latter's head. Ji Yuqiong immediately wielded his giant axe to resist it, but the bloodlight suddenly changed its trajectory when it was about to crash into the axe. The odd swerve was out of the demon god's expectation. Kai! The bloodlight flashed through Ji Yuqiong's chest, cutting off a piece of flesh. "Bastard!" Ji Yuqiong snarled. He furiously hacked at his opponent's head with his axe while Ji Yujing gripped a sturdy stone staff and charged forward. Shui Guzi shook his head and said, "You're too slow." Swish! Swish! The giant axe and stone staff both went through Shui Guzi but touched nothing. A cold bloodlight suddenly appeared behind Ji Yuqiong. Shua! A huge knife mark appeared on Ji Yuqiong's back, where blood spurted out. If Ji Yuqiong did not have such a powerful body, he would have been split in half. Seeing what was happening, Jian Wushuang shook his head. He mumbled to himself, "The demon god clan is famous for their bodies and for having terrifying offensive and defensive powers, but their speed is their disadvantage." Jiyu Qiong was almost as strong as an ordinary superior divine realm expert in offensive power if he exerted his full strength, but his speed was only comparable to an advanced divine realm expert. However, Shui Guzi, he was proficient in speed, so he moved and attacked faster than the two demon gods. Shui Guzi took the advantage of his speed to play with his opponents. Jiyu Yang, who is good at close combat, might be able to defeat Shui Guzi with ease, but it's impossible for these two copper-armored demon gods to fight him. They'll be killed without a doubt. It seems that I should show my move. Jian Wushuang licked his lips. If it were a disciple from another sect who was fighting Jiyu Qiong, Jian Wushuang might have hesitated to join the battle, but things became different when it was a disciple from Cloud Sea Asgard. It was clear to Jian Wushuang that 3 superior divine realm experts from Cloud Sea Asgard had come for him, so he would not wait until they attacked him to fight. It was good to take the initiative in a fight. The Emperor's sword appeared in his hand. The next moment, he glided forward. Shui Guzi was brandishing the scarlet scythe while playing with his opponents, who had received more cuts on their bodies. The demon gods' bodies are powerful. They're still alive under my attack, and their strength hasn't weakened. Shui Guzi frowned. His offensive power was not strong enough to kill his opponents with a single strike, but he was able to injure them by using his speed. Shui Guzi thought. Anyway, it will just take me more time. And then, swoosh! A figure unexpectedly appeared beside him. Heh! Shui Guzi instantly perceived it. After parrying the attacks from the two demon gods, he turned his head to look and found a black-robed youth staring at him coldly. Is that Jian Wushuang? Shui Guzi was astonished. His main purpose in coming here was to kill Jian Wushuang. However, he and the other disciples from Cloud Sea Asgard had not encountered the boy over the past 7 days. With there being only 3 days left, he had been upset about it. But now, Jian Wushuang unexpectedly appeared in front of him. Does the boy want to grab my prey? Shui Guzi frowned and saw a killing intent flash through Jian Wushuang's eyes. No, his target is not the demon gods, but me. He already knows that Cloud Sea Asgard wants to kill him. Shui Guzi understood and then sneered while thinking. Even knowing that, instead of hiding, he's come to kill me? Ha ha, he is courting death. Boy, since you want to die, I'll grant your wish. So much mighty killing intent gushed out from his eyes that it almost materialized. Shui Guzi charged toward Jian Wushuang. Boy, go to hell. Shui Guzi snarled. His scarlet scythe, which was covered by a bloody mist, flashed through the sky. Shui Guzi used his full strength to display his strongest move. He hacked at Jian Wushuang's head. Chapter 705. Hidden Strength. Shui Guzi was unable to kill the demon gods with his strongest move. Instead, he could only slowly torture them to death. On the other hand, he was confident of killing Jian Wushuang with a single move, as his body was weaker than the demon gods. Seeing the oncoming strike, Jian Wushuang's eyes flashed with battle intent. His face was grim. Idiot, you're so eager to kill me that you've forgotten what you're good at. You want to kill me with your offensive power. We'll see who wins. As his killing intent soared, Jian Wushuang tightened his grip on his emperor sword. In his sea of consciousness, the sharp sword heart suddenly shook, activating 100% of its sword heart power. His spiritual power and physical strength instantly peaked. He swung the emperor sword, giving full play to the strength of this eternal weapon. Violet Calamity Sword Skill. His eyes flashed. Jian Wushuang performed the strongest move, Violet Calamity Sword Skill. A brilliant purple light appeared. It looked like a purple sun. It was so dazzling that Jiyu Qiong and Jiyu Jing could not help but close their eyes. Shui Guzi was shocked. He had a grim sense of foreboding. However, it was too late. The brilliant purple sword light had pierced into his scarlet shadow. Clang! The collision caused sparks and formless waves to spread in all directions. How is that possible? Guzi looked at the scarlet scythe in disbelief. He sensed a terrifying power being transmitted from his weapon. Although his defensive skills were weak, his body was still stronger than that of an advanced divine realm expert. However, being confronted with the terrifying power, his right palm suddenly shook and burst apart. His whole arm disintegrated into a fog of blood in the blink of an eye. The initial confrontation had already disabled him. What did this mean? Impossible. Guzi glared at Jian Wushuang as if he had forgotten his pain. 7 days ago, he had witnessed Jian Wushuang fighting against Gong Chao. He had thought that Jian Wushuang was an advanced divine realm expert. He had told Wu Dao and Dao Mai that Jian Wushuang would not stand a chance against them. However, the head-on confrontation with Jian Wushuang had shattered his right arm and hand. He definitely has the battle strength of a superior divine realm expert, and his offensive power is greater than an ordinary one. Guzi's face paled. He had lost his right hand as well as his scarlet scythe, so his battle strength plummeted. Run! Guzi wanted to escape. Jian Wushuang had preempted this. He immediately displayed his exquisite swordsmanship. Streaks of sword shadows that formed a huge net fell toward Guzi. World prison. Jian Wushuang growled. Mighty world energy gushed out and formed a colossal world prison around his opponent. Jian Wushuang had comprehended the fifth occult of the world Dao, so the world prison was more powerful than before. World prison and sword net suppressed Guzi and slowed him down. Guzi was running around in wild panic within the world prison. He might have been able to escape from the world prison alone, but faced with the sword net, Jian Wushuang chased Guzi so relentlessly that the latter struggled to keep resisting. Piss off! Piss off! A sickle appeared in Guzi's left hand. He wanted to fight back with it. However, he had no chance to do so. What? He is so powerful. I know his swordsmanship is exquisite, but how could it be so terrifying? It was terrifying indeed. He had thought that with his skills at the saber technique, he would be able to withstand Jian Wushuang's attacks for a while despite having to use his left hand. The facts were, however, way beyond what he expected. Jian Wushuang, you hid your strength. Guzi snarled as he stared at his opponent. Right, you finally realized it, but it's too late. Jian Wushuang responded with a sneer. He brandished the Emperor sword and knocked the sickle away. At this point, Jiyu Qiong and Jiyu Jing dashed over to Guzi and cut off his escape route. No, no! Guzi roared in despair. Knowing that he was at death's door, his desperation turned to madness. Jian Wushuang, even if I die, I won't make it easy for you. The Eternal Zone will be your grave. Ha ha! Guzi laughed out. He stared at Jian Wushuang with red eyes as he waved with his only hand. Bang! Guzi suddenly burst into a fog of blood. Chapter 706. Bloodmark? He made himself explode. Jian Wushuang looked at the haze of blood in astonishment. Little brother Wushuang. Jiyu Qiong and Jiyu Jing walked toward him. Little brother Wushuang, you're amazing. The outsider was very powerful. Even Jiyu Jing and I didn't stand a chance against him, but you managed to kill him. Jiyu Qiong looked surprised. I was lucky. He underestimated me, otherwise, I couldn't have killed him, Jian Wushuang replied with a smile. It was the truth. He had hidden most of his strength when he fought with Gong Chao, so Guzi had underestimated him and was eager to kill him. Although Guzi was considered the weakest among the 3 superior divine realm experts from Cloud Sea Asgard, he was the core disciple and had various trump cards. Typically, it would not have been easy to kill him. If Guzi had taken advantage of his speed to launch an attack, Jian Wushuang would have been unable to find a chance to kill him. Regrets were useless. A wrong judgment had led his death. Jiyu Qiong, this little brother is. Jiyu Jing looked at Jian Wushuang curiously. I've bumped into him on the road. He is Jian Wushuang from the 8th tribe, Jiyu Qiong answered. The 8th tribe? Little brother Wushuang, you haven't yet made a breakthrough to the divine realm, right? And you also haven't received baptism. It's incredible that you were able to kill an outsider. Jiyu Jing was full of praise. Ha ha, I thought that you had been separated from your family. Now, I know that you've come to train yourself by fighting those outsiders, right? Jiyu Qiong said with a grin. Jian Wushuang nodded with a smile and felt relieved. Right, you've seen through me. It seemed that Jiyu Qiong had not suspected his identity, although he had displayed battle strength which was inconsistent with his own realm. For the demon gods, they only believed in soul aura, which was enough to prove Jian Wushuang's identity. There were many supreme geniuses in the demon god clan, so it was common to see some rank-skipping challenges. At this juncture, Jian Wushuang sensed something amiss. He looked at his right arm and saw a cloud of blood fog creeping towards it. It eventually condensed into blood mark. What? Jian Wushuang was shocked. This is... Seeing this mark, Jian Wushuang eventually understood why Xue Guzi had made himself explode. Xue Guzi wanted to leave a blood mark on his opponent so that the other disciples from Cloud Seer's Guard would be able to find him. Jian Wushuang had seen it before in the ancient world. The mark, like a lighthouse in the dark night, would guide his enemies to find him. Previously, in the ancient world, someone from the Holy Emperor Palace had left a similar mark on him. Since he had been unable to escape at the time, he had to fight to the death with the second Holy Master. Now he was in the same situation. Xue Guzi has practiced such a skill on purpose. It seems that he was prepared for it. Jian Wushuang's expression was frosty. He realized that aside from Xue Guzi, the other 9 disciples from the Cloud Seer's Guard might have mastered the mark skill. Little brother Wushuang, what is this blood mark? Jiyu Qiong asked when he noticed it on Jian Wushuang's arm. The outsider left this mark on me so that the other outsiders would be able to find me, Jian Wushuang responded solemnly. What? Jiyu Qiong was astonished. That means you'll be targeted by the outsiders. Right, but it's just a few people. Jian Wushuang replied as he fixed his eyes on the blood mark. I wonder if my heavenly creation skill can remove this mark? Jian Wushuang thought. He activated the heavenly creation skill. The heavenly creation skill was incredibly powerful. It had been able to refine Lung Rushuang's icy heart poison, so it should be able to remove this mark. However, the mark was deep. Jian Wushuang estimated that it would take him 3 days to remove it. The disciples from Cloud Seer's Guard would find him within that period of time. I'm in trouble. Jian Wushuang thought as his eyes narrowed. Jiyu Qiong looked over at Jian Wushuang and said, Little brother Wushuang, don't worry. This is our place, so we don't need to be afraid of those outsiders. Although most of our clansmen stay in the tribe, there have been a few fights with outsiders in this zone. If the outsiders find you, we'll help you to kill them. Right. Our demon gods are stronger than the outsiders. And our 7th tribe has sent 15 squads here, which means we have 150 clansmen helping us, in addition to the clansmen from the 8th tribe. You don't have to worry about the outsiders. Upon hearing this, Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up. Right, I'm unable to fight against Wu Dao, Dao Mai, and the other disciple from Cloud Seer's Guard, but I'm now a clansman of Demon God Clan. In the Eternal Zone, demon gods are the real masters. They are the strongest. Ha ha. Jian Wushuang could not help but laugh aloud. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Cloud Seer's Guard, since you want to kill me, I won't make it easy on you. This time, if I can't set you up, I'm not Jian Wushuang. Chapter 707, Wu Dao. Big brother Jiyu Qiong, do you have any method to contact the clansmen in the forest? Jian Wushuang asked. Of course. Jiyu Qiong nodded. Our 7th tribe has 15 squads here and each squad has its own contact spot. If there's an emergency, we can leave messages in those spots. The message token did not work in the Eternal Zone, so demon gods could only use the contact spots to send messages. That's fine, then we. Jian Wushuang started to explain his plan to Jiyu Qiong and Jiyu Jing. After a while, the 3 of them came to an agreement. In that case, Jiyu Jing and I will go to the contact spot. Little brother Wushuang, you'll have to deal with the outsider by yourself. Be careful, Jiyu Qiong said. Don't worry. Jian Wushuang replied with a smile. Jiyu Qiong and Jiyu Jing headed for their own squad's contact spot, leaving Jian Wushuang standing alone on the cratered ground. Jian Wushuang sat down with his legs crossed. Cloud Sea Asgard? I'm waiting for you. Come on. Jian Wushuang closed his eyes as he began to meditate on his slaughter Dao. He had comprehended the fifth occult of the world Dao, but his slaughter Dao was relatively weak. When he had fought Shueguzi, Jian Wushuang sensed that he was about to make a breakthrough in the slaughter Dao. He might be able to comprehend the fifth occult of the world Dao before the experts from Cloud Sea Asgard found him. By that time, his strength would have improved greatly. Jian Wushuang waited quietly for his enemies. Meanwhile, in the deep forest in the outer layer of the Eternal Zone, whoosh! A young man with a saber on his back glided and came to a sudden halt. He had an arrogant look and an icy gaze. He was Wu Dao, one of the 3 superior divine realm experts, as well as the strongest one. Shueguzi was also a superior divine realm expert, but he was far inferior to Wu Dao. Wu Dao stood on the treetop as he looked at this right palm where a blood mark had formed. This mark felt hot and was able to lead him to his destination. This blood mark is finally activated. I wonder which junior brother encountered Jian Wushuang. Wu Dao sneered. Aided by the blood mark, he would be able to find Jian Wushuang's whereabouts with ease. Wu Dao turned and headed for his destination. Not long after Wu Dao left, a black-robed figure appeared where Wu Dao had stood moments ago. A strange smile appeared on his face as he stared at Wu Dao's retreating figure. It looks like he's learnt where Jian Wushuang is. Good, I hope he won't disappoint me. The black-robed figure transformed into a black fog and moved forward. He had been tailing Wu Dao for several days, but the superior divine realm expert had not discovered it. Wu Dao glided through the dense forest and eventually reached his destination after half a day. I'm almost there. Watching the boiling blood mark, Wu Dao accelerated. He had a fierce expression on his face. Soon, he spotted Jian Wushuang, who was sitting on the ground. Whoosh! Wu Dao appeared in front of Jian Wushuang and fixed him with a frosty stare. Boy, you're not escaping? You're bold. Jian Wushuang opened his eyes and stared at Wu Dao. Then he stretched his right arm to show his blood mark. It's impossible to escape with this thing. Why waste my time? Jian Wushuang said with a smile. It's good that you know, Wu Dao replied with an icy stare. Fine. No more nonsense. I'll give you a lift. Go to hell. Go to hell. Jian Wushuang sneered as he rose. We'll see who dies. Let's have a try. Wu Dao responded as he stretched his hand to his saber. As the saber was unsheathed, the purple saber radiated a fierce aura. Wu Dao snorted and swung at his opponent with the saber. Shua, the strike cleaved the air. A mighty, brilliant saber river appeared in the sky. As it stretched towards Jian Wushuang, it gave the illusion that he was being split in half. This guy is indeed powerful. Jian Wushuang thought grimly. Jian Wushuang realized that Wu Dao was far superior to Hu and Shueguzi. Therefore, he had to take him seriously. He activated the full power of Sword Heart and launched an attack with his Emperor Sword. Shua! The continuous saber river shattered in the blink of an eye. Hum! Wu Dao was astonished. He glanced at Jian Wushuang. He resisted my attack. It looks like he hid most of his strength when he fought my junior brother Gong Chao. But the result will be the same. It'll just take more effort. Wu Dao shook as his aura soared. His body changed dramatically. His entire body began to swell up. His figure grew larger until he was 2 meters tall. His aura reached a new level. Jian Wushuang was shocked. Wu Dao wore a cold smile. He dashed out and appeared in front of Jian Wushuang. Chapter 708, 2 vs 2. The purple saber lashed out like lightning. Shua! It moved extremely fast. This speed! Jian Wushuang was surprised. Luckily, He was proficient in sword principle, so he was able to react in time. Clang! 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 Wu Dao brandished his saber with terrifying strength and made swift strikes in succession. The killing intent in his eyes soared as Jian Wushuang fully released the power of the World Dao. The World Dao contained everything in the world. Although it had no peculiarity, it was flawless. Jian Wushuang combined it with his swordsmanship and succeeded in resisting attacks from his opponent. Ghost Shadow! Wu Dao shouted. The purple saber shot forward with doubled speed and force. Violet Calamity Sword Skill. Jian Wushuang immediately displayed his trump card. Boom! The collision caused Jian Wushuang to tilt backwards and made his hands tingle. Wu Dao remained unaffected and continued to unleash saberlight at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang appeared fearless and remained stoic. Seeing Jian Wushuang resisting in a composed manner, Wu Dao was surprised. Boy, you do possess some strength. He had underestimated Jian Wushuang. After witnessing his fight with Gong Chao, Wu Dao had even proclaimed that he would be able to kill him with a single strike. However, Wu Dao had barely been able to suppress him, even with his full strength. I can't match you in offensive power, but your saber technique is far inferior to my sword technique. I can't defeat you, but it's impossible for you to kill me. Jian Wushuang growled. He had completely comprehended the 9 occults of the Slaughter Dao. Now he was capable of remaining undefeated with the help of his exquisite swordsmanship. You're right. It's hard to kill you on my own. What a pity. There's another expert who wants you to die. Wu Dao sneered as he looked at a spot next to Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang paled as he found a figure standing next to him. Dao Mai. Jian Wushuang's face fell. Now he had to deal with 2 superior divine realm experts from Cloud Sea Asgard. Dao Mai folded his arms and said coldly, Wu Dao, didn't you say that you could kill him with a single strike? I didn't know that he had hidden his strength. It's already reached our level. He is even stronger than Shui Guzi. Moreover, his swordsmanship is too exquisite, Wu Dao snorted. He was telling the truth. His overall strength was far superior to Jian Wushuang, but he was unable to defeat the boy because of his extraordinary swordsmanship. Extraordinary swordsmanship? What about comparing it to my saber technique? Dao Mai sneered. Dao Mai was proficient in saber technique. Let's work together to kill him. This zone is full of danger. If we dally too long, we might draw the attention of the demon gods or the other experts, Wu Dao said in a solemn tone. Okay. Dao Mai nodded. Terrifying aura erupted from the 2 experts as they charged forward. 2 superior divine realm experts? Jian Wushuang was not frightened. Shua. His body seemed to split for a second and 2 figures appeared. One resisted Wu Dao, while the other one dealt with Dao Mai. 2 versus 2. Jian Wushuang continued to hold his own in the fight. Doppelganger secret skill. He had displayed that skill in the Firmament Territory Feast. It's not a big deal. It won't change anything. The strength of Wu Dao and Dao Mai erupted. They were the strongest among the superior divine realm experts. Although Jian Wushuang had comprehended the 5th occult of World Dao and Slaughter Dao and his strength had greatly improved after entering the Eternal Zone, he was still weaker than the 2 experts. Fortunately, his excellent swordsmanship helped him to withstand their attacks for a while. Jian Wushuang, I'll see how long you'll withstand our attacks, Wu Dao said in an icy tone. Wu Dao launched continuous attacks, giving Jian Wushuang no respite, causing his world body to gradually retreat. The slaughter body was in a worse situation. Jian Wushuang had used the heart-killing sword, instead of his eternal weapon, the Emperor Sword, so his slaughter body was weaker than the world body. The slaughter body was only adept at offensive attack, but he was still inferior than Dao Mai. While the 2 original bodies fought the 2 experts, the black-robed figure who had been hiding in the nearby forest watched. It looks like there's no need for me to make a move. The 2 little guys from Cloud Sea Asgard can kill Jian Wushuang? The man thought. His face was completely concealed by his robe. Tut. Jian Wushuang is amazing. It's a pity that he follows the ancient sect and has become Xianxi's personal disciple. Xianxia has fostered 3 monsters, so no one will allow him to bring up the 4th one. What a pity! A peerless genius will die, the black-robed figure murmured. Abruptly, he looked at the battlefield with an odd expression. Here comes another expert from the immortal dynasty. Things are getting interesting. Chapter 709. Trap. On the battlefield, under the bold offensive from Wu Dao and Dao Mai, both of Jian Wushuang's original bodies plateaued and were defeated. Right at that moment, a figure dashed out of the jungle and appeared on the battlefield. Very busy here, I see. A burly man wrapped in black robes and a foul mood showed up. Long Dao. Wu Dao and Dao Mai eyes widened and jaws dropped in shock when they saw the man. Jian Wushuang looked at him as well. Long Dao, a genius disciple from the immortal dynasty, was a superior divine realm expert whose battle strength rivaled Wu Dao. What are you doing here? Wu Dao said, staring coldly at Long Dao. I just passed by and noticed the energy fluctuations, so I thought I'd have a look. To my surprise, you two battled a disciple in the skyscraping realm level from the ancient sect. Embarrassing to say the least, Long Dao said and laughed at them. Long Dao, you are an old disciple in the immortal dynasty, so you shouldn't be in the eternal zone. Why are you still here? Dao Mai looked at Long Dao and said, if I'm correct, your purpose is the same as ours, you also wish to kill Jian Wushuang. Long Dao furrowed his brow, but didn't reply. Dao Mai and Wu Dao received their answer when they saw Long Dao's reaction. Beyond doubt, Long Dao's goal was also Jian Wushuang. Since we have the same goal, how about you fight with us to kill Jian Wushuang? What say you? Dao Mai said in a lighter tone. Fight with you. Long Dao glanced and grinned at Wu Dao and Dao Mai. I can fight alongside you too, but I desire all his treasures after he is vanquished. What? Wu Dao's face reddened. Sure. Dao Mai nodded and talked to Wu Dao in a low voice. Calm down. Our task is only to kill Jian Wushuang, not to seize his treasures. Since Long Dao desires them, then just let him take what he pleases. Moreover, when Jian Wushuang is dead, Xianxia will definitely search for the murderer. It will prove safer for us to let him keep the treasures. Upon hearing that, although Wu Dao's facial muscles tightened up in unwillingness, he begrudgingly nodded. Good. Then let us work together to kill this ancient sect genius, Long Dao said, a cunning grin spreading across his face. Wu Dao and Dao Mai nodded solemnly. The next moment, these three all turned to Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang's world body and slaughter body stood side by side and stared coldly at Wu Dao, Dao Mai, and Long Dao. It seems in the eternal zone, not only the Cloud Seer's guard, but also the immortal dynasty wants me dead. I wonder what the attitude of boundless demon sect is. Jian Wushuang thought, but didn't worry about the crisis at all. I only planned to trick the Cloud Seer's guard, but since the immortal dynasty joins us, then that's not my fault. His eyes beamed with bloodlust. The next moment, the Emperor's sword glided toward the void. Boom! The dazzling sword light cut the clouds. It seemed it would split the sky down the middle. Wu Dao, Dao Mai, and Long Dao all stood in bewilderment. They didn't comprehend Jian Wushuang's intentions. What's this kid doing? Wu Dao sneered. However, when the heavy footsteps reverberated through the void, his smile froze. As the footsteps grew nearer, hundreds of giant creatures popped up from the dense jungle. These giants all stood taller than 3 meters. Most of them gleamed bronze with only a few silver. The most obvious giant was the one enveloped by a golden light. It was gigantic and towered almost 10 meters. Demon gods. A large number of demon gods, full 10. 4 of them were silver-armored and 1 was the gold-armored demon god. These demon gods popped up from the jungle. The next moment, they flew towards Wu Dao, Dao Mai, and Long Dao. Wu Dao, Dao Mai, and Long Dao, 3 superior divine realm experts gawked in shock. Pure shock. They wandered the Eternal Zone for a long time and fought demon gods, including silver-armored demon gods, many times. However, they realized how terrifying these demon gods were. Usually, the battle strength of a silver-armored demon god was on par with theirs, or even stronger. Fortunately, the demon gods were all separated at the outside layer. That gave them a chance to break through one by one. It took them 7 days to defeat them and also gain some demon god essence blood. But now, they never imagined this scenario. God, so many demon gods gathered together, including 4 silver-armored and 1 gold-armored demon god. The gold-armored demon god, the best among the demon gods. They wandered for so many days, yet it was their first time witnessing a gold-armored demon god. These demon gods are drawn by Jian Wushuang. Dao Mai glared at Jian Wushuang. Before Jian Wushuang split the sky with his sword, they were all confused. But now, as they faced these demon gods, they understood what he did. Trap. A trap. Dao Mai roared suddenly. It's a trap. That bastard, Jian Wushuang, works with these demon gods. Long Dao said furiously. How is this possible? Why do these demon gods aid him? Wu Dao said in disbelief. But even though it proved difficult for them to accept, such was a fact. The demon gods flew to the battlefield. They ignored Jian Wushuang's 2 original bodies and instead rushed towards him. Run! Run! They ignored Jian Wushuang and ran away without hesitation. Run! Now! It's far too late for that. Jian Wushuang stared at the 3 fleeing and clasped his hands. He set this trap for Wu Dao and Dao Mai, but to his surprise, Long Dao fell into it as well. The trap was very simple. He used himself as the target to attract Wu Dao and Dao Mai. Then he negotiated for the demon gods to rip them to shreds. It was a simple plan, but Wu Dao, Dao Mai, and even Long Dao wouldn't know the demon god clan allied themselves with him. That was why they fell into the trap. Chapter 710. Gold-Armored Demon God. Eternal Zone was home to a massive community of demon gods. The demon gods here were only some from the outer layer. They received messages from Jiyu Qiong and Jiyu Jing and then rushed to fight. When Jian Wushuang launched the signal, they immediately rushed them. Jian Wushuang also recognized there were hundreds of demon gods coming. However, to his surprise, a gold-armored demon god showed up first. Gold-armored demon god. Jian Wushuang stared at the demonic creature. At 10 meters tall, the demon's huge legs exploded with speed inconsistent to its frame. Its speed far exceeded that of the superior divine realm experts. This demonic monstrosity was the first to bear down on Wu Dao, Dao Mai, and Long Dao. People from outside the Eternal Zone, die. The gold-armored demon god howled and waved his golden giant hammer, which was like a small mountain hurtling towards Long Dao. The giant hammer flew through the void and boomed loudly. Long Dao's expression changed dramatically. However, as a superior divine realm expert and the core disciple of the immortal dynasty, Long Dao remained confident in his strength. He waved his giant axe and exploited his strongest secret skill and unique skill. He swung the axe, opposing the gold-armored demon god defiantly. The giant axe exploded with tremendous power. Truly his greatest offensive power. However, when the golden giant hammer collided with the giant axe, it was like an elephant trampling an ant. They were worlds apart. Long Dao's giant axe, touted as a powerful divine weapon, shattered in blow from the golden giant hammer. After that, the incredible power from the hammer walloped Long Dao. Bang! A muffled sound, Long Dao exploded into bloody fog. A terrifying hammer indeed. So powerful. Wu Dao and Dao Mai watched in horror. The gold-armored demon god's strength shocked even Jian Wushuang. Only one attack and the hammer outclassed the giant axe and eviscerated Long Dao. Its power almost matched the ordinary experts in the Eternal Realm. A black-robed figure in the dark witnessed the fight in amazement. The Demon God clan is divided into 3 different levels, including Copper-Armored Demon God, Silver-Armored Demon God, and Gold-Armored Demon God. These 3 levels represent different bloodlines. The Copper-Armored is weaker than the Silver-Armored, but there is a huge gap between the gold-armored and the silver-armored. The strength of a gold-armored demon god and the divine realm expert level usually are close to the experts in the eternal realm. Even for me, it will prove very difficult to defeat this gold-armored demon god. These three guys are so unlucky to meet a gold-armored demon god who possesses an eternal weapon. The black-robed figure was certainly well informed. Moreover, it would be better if the gold-armored demon god was only on the divine realm expert level. But if he was on the eternal realm level, then that would prove nightmarish for them. In the inner layer, the eternal realm experts from the firmament territory were only able to fight the silver-armored demon gods in the eternal realm level. If they met a gold-armored demon god, they ran away as quick as possible. The gold-armored demon gods represented the highest bloodline in the demon god clan, so their numbers were small. It was rare to meet them. Unfortunately, Wu Dao, Dao Mai and Long Dao met a gold-armored demon god in the outer layer of the eternal zone. It seems I need to do it by myself. The black-robed man slightly raised his head and showed an evil look. On the battlefield, the gold-armored demon god killed Long Dao with his hammer. The next moment, his huge body turned into a dazzling golden light and shot to Wu Dao and Dao Mai. Wu Dao and Dao Mai were both terrified and immediately ran away without hesitation. Dao Mai's figure transformed into a saber shape enveloped by a thunderlight. He split the air and quickly ran away. His speed was at least twice as fast. However, his opponent was not only one gold-armored demon god, but also hundreds of silver-armored and copper-armored demon gods. These demon gods all rushed to kill him from different angles. Like right now, there was a silver-armored demon god in front of Dao Mai. Jiyu Yang met Zhen Wushuang before. You wish to escape? Jiyu Yang said it with a cold voice. He held two heavy mazes and utilized them well. When Dao Mai appeared, he threw the two mazes. In an instant, the gas exploded and disoriented Dao Mai. Damn you! Dao Mai looked terrible. Jiyu Yang stopped him, but he desperately wanted to escape. However, Jiyu Yang possessed the tremendous power of his mazes and also showed his terrifying offensive abilities, and soon, Dao Mai was in a bad situation. Not to mention running away. He was hopelessly trapped by Jiyu Yang. The next moment, there were a few copper-armored demon gods and one silver-armored demon god rushing to kill him. Many demon gods surrounded Dao Mai, making escape impossible. As for Wu Dao, he knew how to protect himself better than Dao Mai. Since the gold-armored demon god chased him and a few demon gods stood in front of him, Wu Dao shook his figure, then the blood surged. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Suddenly, Wu Dao multiplied into 9 clones. These 9 Wu Dao's appearance and aura mirrored each other. What is this? Zhen Wushuang stood in the distance and took no action. He squinted at Wu Dao's 9 bodies. One person can transform to 9 doppelgangers. But the aura doppelgangers are weak. It should cost him a lot to cultivate this transformation. This should be the life-saving secret skill that only works for a short time. Wu Dao's doppelgangers were completely different from the real doppelganger secret skill. Doppelganger secret skill maintained the doppelganger forever. They could even go fight and retrieve the treasure. Like Xianxia, he was in the Sword Palace, but his doppelganger represented him to handle different things. But even that was just a doppelganger, yet no one dared look down upon it. But Wu Dao's doppelganger was used to deceive his opponent, so in essence, it was only a secret skill utilized when fleeing.